startups working on solutions to the challenges that exist in the clean tech sector. So we will, so the team will have to tackle challenges in energy, water, waste, transportation, etc. Through this program, Berytech will offer the selected startups the resources, the knowledge, the support, and the funding which is necessary to scale and grow. You can check the additional info and the eligibility criteria on Berytech website, berytech.org, by going to Programs section and select Cleanergy. The deadline to apply for the first batch of the Cleanergy Accelerator is 15 June. So if you think you have an innovative solution in the clean tech sector, I urge you to check the website and submit your application. Also, we are very excited to announce the first edition of the Berytech e-hackathon, Cleantech edition, which is going to happen from June 10 to 13. So through the e-hackathon, we are aiming to motivate participants to find innovative solutions to the challenges in the clean tech sector, which in turn will go and help in reducing negative environmental impact, increasing the economical value, and create job opportunities in Lebanon and retain these talents in Lebanon. So in our webinar today, we'll be having a discussion about the challenges and opportunities that exist in the clean tech sector. So I'd like to thank our panelists who are joining us today. We have with us Ramy Boujawdeh and Hania Chahal. Ramy joined Berytech in 2014 as the Deputy General Manager. He has been leading the incubation and entrepreneurship business development arm that supports innovative Lebanese startups and SMEs, providing business support, mentorship, coaching, fundraising, hosting, networking, and part of innovation and entrepreneurship regional programs. So he designed and leads the Act Smart Innovation Hub initiative, which is a first of its kind in MENA, focusing on both agri-tech and clean tech. With close to 2 decades of international experience in management in different disciplines, Ramy has amassed diversified knowledge in the fields of change and quality management, operations, and entrepreneurship support programs. And with his strong business mindset and a firm commitment to achieve excellence, Ramy is an angel investor and actively advises early-stage startups in Lebanon. Welcome, Ramy. I'd like also to introduce Hania. Hania is a marketing economist. She holds a bachelor degree in agriculture and master's degree in food economics and marketing. She has around 16 years of professional experience in designing, leading, and implementing different assessments and projects across Lebanon, as well as the region like Italy, Yemen, Syria. She helped in funding various donors. These projects were funded by various donors and international organizations such as USAID, EU, UN, DFID, and GICA. She has worked with SMEs, entrepreneurs, cooperatives, and business owners across various regions in Lebanon, including the North, Bekaa, and Mount Lebanon governments, and where she gained wide understanding of the challenges facing business, growth, and job creation within the region. So Hania currently works on private sector development and agri-food sector, particularly promoting exports for fresh fruits and vegetables to Europe and the Gulf. So our webinar today will be we'll be having a panel discussion between myself and Ramy and Hania, and after the discussion we'll be taking a Q&A from the audience. So please feel free to ask your questions on Slido. I'll be sharing the Slido link on the chat window throughout the webinar. So I welcome you again, Ramy and Hania, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elias.
Okay, so if we want to start the discussion, I'm following the introduction of the Cleanergy program and the different sectors that it covers. So it's obvious that these sectors are big pain points for Lebanon and the Lebanese. So Ramy, what do you see as the main role that the Cleanergy program can play in really addressing these challenges? And do you think the current economic situation is considered as a headwind or tailwind for such programs?
Well, Elias, first of all, thank you for hosting us today. Hania and I, with a number of experts, have done a stakeholder assessment of the opportunities and risks that are available in the sector. Now, talking about the program and why it's important for it, because Lebanon is facing major issues related to environmental sustainability and opportunity by using proper practices to improve things. And this could be in different ways. They could be science-based solutions on optimizing different mechanisms to improve some processes, or they could be technological using engineering or computer science, or they could be business models or digitization of solutions to help people together. So with that, the program is tackling, is helping entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs that want to play an active role in this, to help them make a difference and have the right support to be able to establish a business that is for profit, that has a social, environmental, and economic impact on the people they are affecting. And we're looking at solutions that could scale beyond the borders of Lebanon. Definitely, Lebanon has a mixture of problems that are, in our eyes, opportunities to improve. But a lot of those problems are also available in many countries in the developing world. So having said that, our program will definitely help people to tackle those challenges. And basically, it happens through a process of shortlisting. So we first shortlist the best ideas, then we take them through the process to validate. So we connect them with stakeholders that have been interviewed, questions. We help them validate their problems. We help them implement those solutions in different places to test their viability and potential. And then we help them finance those solutions to be able to scale to larger scale. So this program will definitely play a role in accelerating new solutions that could improve the clean tech sector in Lebanon and improve better solutions for Lebanon.
Great, and we are so excited for the program. Another question here. So one of the sectors, for example, that is covered under Cleantech is the waste. And when we talk about waste, lots of people usually consider this sector as a public, centralized sector where the only players are government, municipalities, probably NGOs. How do you think the innovators can leave an impact in this sector, and what kind of challenges can they help tackling?
Well, waste have been a major, on the news, mainly on the news since 2015. We've seen a little bit of a reduction of news about it, but we still see a lot of challenges linked to solid waste in Lebanon. Lately, there were news about the Jdeida and Bush Hamoud landfills being full. The Costa Brava will be there as well. And we haven't been able to find solutions. And you're right, in the perception of people, this is the responsibility of the government, whether it's local municipalities or the government as a whole, Ministry of Environment, you name it. But let's put it in a different perspective. We have, beyond Beirut, we have a lot of decentralized solutions, even in the Matan area and beyond. There have been some successful solutions that happen. And that's not limited only to household waste. There's a lot of opportunity in waste that come in from business to business. So when you look at the leftovers or the waste byproducts of the agriculture sector, for example, in that there's a lot of opportunity to valorize this into compost, into phenols, into byproducts to be used in other industries, into feed for animal. All those are potential businesses that could be valorized if somebody looks at it and moves away from the dairy industry, which is a major issue in the Litani River. And I think one of us, we're going to talk about the wastewater in the future, is also an opportunity to optimize, valorization of protein into feed, and so on and so forth. Having said that, there's also an opportunity with the current devaluation of the currency for people who are looking into it. Industrials used to import raw material, for example, from outside, at par dollars. So they had the dollars, they were selling in dollars, buying raw material in dollars, so it didn't make a big difference. But now, for them to import raw material from outside, it's going to be more costly for them to bring in the cardboards, the aluminum, the glass, the plastics, and so on, instead of transforming it here. So there are opportunities, a lot of opportunities in, recycling of products, including, cooking oil or garage oil, car oil, and so on, that could be transformed into biodiesel and so on. And we've seen some of those initiatives pop up in different places. We also look into fertilizers, for example. Composting is a major, substitution for chemical fertilizers that were very common in the agriculture sector. And now importing fertilizer is also bought with, hard currency. You have to import it from abroad and so on. Can we relook at opportunities to valorize, waste into compost, for example, and create jobs and create good products for our agriculture and having a better agriculture and better soil, for example? All of these are opportunities for people to valorize, and we don't expect, we don't expect to see somebody holding the full value chain of waste, for example. You need people who will be collectors. You need people who are, working as a marketplace for selling and buying. You need people who transform it. You need people who upsell it. A lot of opportunity. We used to throw a lot of things in Lebanon, if you compare to the region. A lot of people are used to consume a lot of those electronics, new mobile phones, etc., radios, cameras, you name it. And very little people used to repair their products. So if you break something, you throw it and then you replace it with something new. I think with the current situation, we're going to have a lot of repairs. And with that, also, it's valorization of waste that used to be wasted and now it could be converted into, extending shelf life and so on. So this has also opportunities. And those business models could scale. Waste of recycling of clothes or secondhand clothing, secondhand markets, all those are also ways to get out of the collection and beyond. And those solutions, as I mentioned, could be a new platform to trade waste. It could be a storage facility. It could be a machine that will be a compactor that could be put in small scale supermarkets or stores or neighborhoods. You see, when you drive on the road, you see all those bins full of cardboard and organic waste and so on. Can we valorize, maybe not at the household level or maybe at the household level, but also at the commercial, retail, industrial, how can we valorize waste before it goes into the bins? Is also a lot of opportunities for people to look at those markets and build into it. We've seen since 2015 till now, we've seen a lot of initiatives that were handled by NGOs to solve waste. But I think it's time for people to look at it from a business perspective. Let's look at it where businesses can influence policies, where we could empower municipalities to work on things. Definitely there's a B2C, business to consumer, business to business, but there is a B2G, business to government. And this could be local government. And we could help those entrepreneurs who want to work there cruise to those knowledge and be able to sell services to the different stakeholders that we have.
And I agree more. As you were saying, lots of the challenges that exist in the waste sector, and we have lots of challenges in the waste sector in Lebanon. And one of these challenges, as you said, is the solid waste, which is getting amplified during this crisis. So managing, handling, and treating the waste efficiently is going to definitely be key parameters to address lots of the challenges in this sector. How do you think the advancement in technology can be leveraged to help solving these challenges at different levels, let's say from the source and throughout the whole chain?
Well, we've seen in previous programs at Berytech, people looking at the challenges. And one of them was Quadra, which is a startup that looked at fruit sorting machines. And with that, they were able to create machines that fit the local market in Lebanon, because we have smaller cooperatives, smaller volumes, and so on. So they use artificial intelligence, machine learning, to use sensors to separate, different types of apples, to be able to categorize them, and so on. When you look at waste, when you look at, building building composting tunnels, when you look at building sorting facilities, when you look at applications, online applications or mobile applications to, you know, select people that would come and pick your garbage from one place to another. When you look at digital platforms to trade, you know, plastic or you know, paper or whatnot. When you look at geolocation positioning to help people identify and valorize, when you look at solutions that could be sold to municipalities to communicate with their, you know, with their citizens in those communities to talk to each other, we've seen a lot of solutions, and you could talk about, you know, biological or chemical solutions that are used to ferment, transform, compact, you name it. So there are a lot of opportunities that are there. We're looking at waste, not only household. People need to think beyond the household, because we look at the household and that's a core component. But let's look at industrial waste. What comes out of factories, breweries, dairy industry, metal industry, you name it. So all of this generate waste, and this could be transformed in a different way. So using biological solutions, chemical solutions, engineering solutions, and so on could help. And technology could be whether software as platforms, ERPs, and so on. It could be IoT with sensors and stuff for people to change behavior and maybe collect weigh bins and so on, advise people on the size. Or, as I mentioned, it could be engineering solution or an IoT, Internet of Things solution that could solve, or biological or chemical.
Thank you, Ramy, for this interesting discussion about the waste. I'll leave you now for like some also let's say a spicy discussion about the water and wastewater field in Lebanon. So the floor is yours.
Okay. So our discussion now will be with Hania. So Hania, first of all, thank you for joining us. Hania, you've worked with us on the stakeholder management, identifying challenges and opportunities. Talking about that, are there another big sector that falls under the umbrella of Cleantech is water management and wastewater treatment, which are, you know, core also to Lebanon being in an arid region. Water is not necessarily available 24/7. And we all agree that this sector is facing lots of challenges in Lebanon. What do you think is one of the main challenges that this sector is facing? So I'm sure there are some challenges that are flagrant that we know about. So please give us maybe insights of where the main challenges in the water and wastewater sectors are.
Okay, thank you, Ramy. Actually, while doing these different stakeholder meetings, it was very interesting also to look at challenges, not just in private sector and what's happening with the different people or operators in the private sector, but also in the public sector. I mean, I can give the example of the regional water establishments, because also you mentioned something that municipalities, they're trying to communicate and trying to have a closer relations with their citizens. And the regional water establishments also, I mean, they've received support, but they are also trying to have to be more customer focused, customer oriented, and do a more effective client servicing. But this requires planning, and planning requires data. And data is a big challenge for the regional water establishments. For example, if somebody is not really paying the fees, or somebody is using the account of others to utilize the water, these cannot be traceable for the regional water authorities. Or if somebody moved, they cannot really trace them. So the collection process is a challenge for them because they don't really have the right data. At the same time, because we have different water establishments in different regions, each one may have a database, but they're not consolidated. So there is not really a kind of like a platform that combines them all so that they can work on proper planning and coordination between them. This is very important in terms of looking at the challenges also in the public sector, because this really affects the operations and affects us as citizens in the country. If we look at other challenges where we now, for example, because we're having the economic conditions and we're having the financial struggles, we have to look at ways to valorize the different waste, for example. And we know that we have industries such as the cement industry, such as the animal farms also for agriculture, and the paint industry. They have a lot of use for calcium carbonate, which goes into actually in the sludge as into the rivers, into the water. And we need to work on that. How could we valorize this to be used? Such as, for example, also you mentioned the whey, which is a source of protein. Can we really valorize and use that as a protein source for animal feed? So can we really work on the circular economy? This is a challenge that we are also facing in the water and the wastewater sector.
Very good. Thank you so much, Hania. This is great, and I think, you know, between water establishment, valorizing waste, circular economy, all of this is, you know, should be top of mind of those people looking at those opportunities as a way to create, you know, a sustainable solutions, sustainable businesses to help. Now, with that, do you think that the technological advancement that are available in the world, do you think the water sector in general can leverage this? The technological advancement, and how do you think technology can play a role there?
I think there's a lot of advancement in terms of technology application and technology utilization in the water sector. And a lot of research has been really done in terms of application on the water sector. For example, we have something called you mentioned, for example, the Internet of Things, IoT, which some people are also, or some entrepreneurs have also developed solutions using IoT for proper water utilization and water saving techniques. For example, trying to put sensors on apple trees, trying to really check, for example, how much the apple tree utilizes water and how could we really optimize that using the different algorithm that can help in terms of planning. Abroad, for example, there are a lot of technologies specifically in terms of biological, for example, the biomimicry. Now, the biomimicry is very interesting because they're trying to really mimic the different processes that are found in nature. So they're trying to use biomimicry in water harvesting techniques, as well as actually trying to really use clean water from, or extract clean water from sludge in terms of treatment. And how they do it is that they really try to mimic the human filtering membranes of the cells, and this, especially in terms of water, and this is how they apply it. So I think there are a lot of technologies that are available out there and are also in process of development. But I think there's even a greater opportunity to see how we can adapt these technologies to the context of Lebanon, and how can these really technologies be used to address the challenges that we're facing in the country.
So there are opportunities, technology, and engineering that could support this. We've highlighted areas related to, you know, different industries, different sectors, private sector, public sector, and all of that. You know, with all of that, those are opportunities to see people looking at this and identifying how they can use their skills to, you know, to optimize on those sectors. So with that, I leave the floor to you to discuss with Elias about the energy sector and the opportunities.
Yeah, thank you. So we know that actually, the energy sector is one of the biggest sectors of clean tech. And we know that we are also having a lot of controversy in the country regarding the energy sector. And within the energy, we have the renewable energy that is gaining more momentum in the country, using solar water pumps, solar water heaters, using also trying like now investing in windmills for renewable energy. Now, these are expensive and their return on investment is more on the long term. So we're thinking long term, but we are also facing challenges in terms of the economy. So how do you think, Elias, for example, how do you think we can still implement clean tech? How can innovators actually implement clean tech in such conditions?
So actually, this is like a great question, Hania. Definitely, like as you're saying, like the energy is at the heart of the clean tech sector. Software and development is being done globally, and yes, it's true. Like the renewable energy, like from solar panels to maybe wind turbines and the hydropower as well, is like quite expensive, and usually it's a long-term investment that the government or even like private sector also can do. And like with the current situation and like the foreign currency secrecy as well, so we need to start thinking a bit like outside the box and try to collaborate and find solutions and address challenges on the level that we can tackle. So we know like there is no, we don't have like PV cells manufacturing or wind turbine manufacturing, so everything is imported from outside Lebanon. So what we can do as innovators in Lebanon is trying to address the challenges that come after that. So how we can turn the PV cells more efficient, how we can add maybe cheaper systems. Like we know globally there are lots of solutions and R&D happening in order to optimize the power out of a PV panel, for example. So how we can be part of this and try to find low-cost solutions that can be manufactured locally and address the challenges that we have, our type of weather, our type of environment, like the dust that we have, and etc. Like maybe regarding like cleaning the PV cells and etc. to get the most out of it. Another thing that can be addressed, for example, is like having some new ways to manage the traffic lights. Let's say how we can optimize the use of the power when lighting our streets. You know, now we are like in some part of Lebanon, we have like the solar powered traffic lights, and which like most of the time are either like getting malfunctioned or something. So because of the misuse of this technology, and there are like lots of gaps which the innovators can fill in these kind of applications, okay, and it can be done easily with like available products in the market without the need of like big investments and like waiting maybe new policies or new law from the government itself. The private sector, I believe, and like the innovators, especially in the energy, because it has like lots of I would say sub-sectors, and it's like it goes even in the waste sector, in the water and wastewater sector. So for example, maybe we can get out of the waste with some new processes, we can get like a new source of energy as well. So this is like this kind of R&D can also be implemented locally, and it has like a big impact. If I would say also we can even tackle like the energy from the efficiency point of view. So efficiency and energy is like maybe doing analytics, storing, acquiring data, monitoring, and for better judgment and like I would say better recommendations on how we are using energy. And this also is a very big field, and it's getting a huge momentum as well. Not only like working and addressing the source of the energy, but also from the load perspective, how we can also optimize the load and make sure that we are like working with the system and getting out of it the most that it can deliver. So lots of different topics, I believe, and like so the innovators in Lebanon, we have, I believe, the right talent to address lots and lots of challenges, even if we don't have like big manufacturing facilities doing like the big renewable energy stuff. So
yeah, very interesting, because the crisis, okay, it has its disadvantages, but I think one of the main advantages is really trying to, let's say, squeeze our brains and come up with really innovative solutions to address different issues. One of them is what we call import substitution. What can we do, and how can we do it more efficiently than just relying on imports for that? So you mentioned different ones, and you did really focus on efficiency and low-cost solutions, because this is what we look for, low-cost solutions now, especially that energy sector is really cross-cutting across different sectors. It has different subsectors that could be used, be it in agriculture, be it in manufacturing and others. But again, the crisis does really, let's say, overshadow the different initiatives. But then how can really we actually make use of the technology that is available abroad to have an impact in the clean tech sector in Lebanon?
yes, so like that's true. Like the crisis is having its impact on us and on all the different sectors, and we are seeing like sectors that are being like heavily affected with that. But here, I believe the best thing or the best asset that the Lebanese have is like the talent and the educational level and we are. I've been working with like cutting edge technologies from Lebanon with people from all around the world. So we have access to this knowledge. We have access to this kind of talent which is needed to address these challenges locally. And the beautiful thing about like the technology, it's becoming accessible for I would say everyone between quotes. So this kind of technology is becoming. I'm talking about, for example, about the artificial intelligence or the machine learning or whatever. So all these algorithms and are becoming more and more used through different sectors, not only energy, like even like with water and waste. So because the technology itself, which is needed to operate or to make these kind of, I would say, algorithms or technologies useful is there, and it's becoming very cheap. So in any smartphone, we have now a very powerful processor which can like process very heavy algorithms. So I'm eager to see how we can really benefit from this technological advancement that we're seeing. Okay, how we can penetrate with the different sectors. One of it is the energy. Okay, and see how we can apply it. Like it's there, and I'm sure that lots of my colleagues working in this field do agree with me that we have the right talent to execute this. We just need to get inspired, get some ideas validated, make sure that we are answering and addressing the right challenges, and the technology is there. Like and it's and we really have access to it. Like this is like one of the easiest I would say parameters in the whole equation. Like the technology is becoming available, and we have lots of experts that can help us address it if we don't have this particular specialty. So I believe this is an exciting time, and we can, even in the crisis, translate this into translate the challenges into opportunities and do some impact in Lebanon and global. So.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, because also it's, I mean, especially during the meetings with the different stakeholders, we did really sense the level of the challenges and the intensity of the challenges, but we were also looking at ways to turn them into opportunities. And given that Lebanon really has something which is very, very, let's say, has high value, which is highly valued, is the talent and the creativity, and how can we really put them together to have more, to access these technologies and really to adapt them more to the challenges of Lebanon in the different sectors, be it in the water, the wastewater, energy, and solid waste. So yes, I do agree with you. We just need to focus on the talents for now. And I think we do have it, and we just need to give them a little push, a source of inspiration, and we're on track.
I believe this is this is exactly what we are trying to do with the Cleanergy program. So try to inspire people and giving them the right ecosystem and environment to develop their ideas, their prototypes, or whatever they are doing in this sector, and have an impact together on our lives, basically.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hania, for this great discussion. And before moving to the Q&A, I would like to remind all the audience that we're taking the questions on Slido. So I've been sharing the Slido link on the chat window. Please go ahead and post any question you have for the three of us, and we will be happy to answer it. Regarding the session, I'm seeing some comments asking about the recording. So the recording will be available after the session. It's already now being streamed live on Facebook, and it will be available there. And we will also post the recording on our webpage as well. So let's start with the questions. So I have, let me share my screen. Okay, so we already have a couple of questions. Okay, so the first question is, what is the procedure that we're going to follow during the program? If I may answer this question, so basically the program, it's a one-year program, and it's basically, it has three different phases in it. And the first phase, it is like a 2-month phase where we do the validation. It's the validation phase. We provide a grant to the selected teams, and they will spend the 2 months validating their idea, studying their market, making sure that they understand what is needed, the right features, and the right features needed by the market from their product. And the teams who got qualified to the second phase will go and start the acceleration phase, which is our second phase. It's like a 5 months period. And during this period, they will start working on developing their MVP or prototype, and they will get all the needed assistance from Berytech and the ecosystem. We'll try to put them in contact with the right specialists that is needed to address or to develop their application. And meanwhile, also we will be like introducing them to the business, having a business model, financial model, etc. And at the end of these 5 months, the selected teams as well will, the qualified teams will move to the third phase, which is the incubation phase, which is also a 5 months period. And it also has a grant during this period for them to and by then they will be like some like a startup which is already registered, having a clear business model, financial model. They are ready to get investors, okay, and they are always under the umbrella of the program. I hope it's like answer in general, like the process or the different phases that the selected teams will be going through during the program. Another question is from Ziad. So the infrastructure sector has well-established techno-economic paths dependencies out of the entrepreneur control. It's a long slog. Where the right place to seek funding? Ramy, would you like to address this?
Sure. So Ziad, you're right. When it comes to the clean tech sector, there are areas where the infrastructure plays a role in terms of impacting solutions. Having said that, we see also opportunities where you're not necessarily bound to the infrastructure as such. I've talked about a number of,
Ramy, I think your voice is cutting at your end.
Okay. Let me move to my phone.
Yes, take time.
1 second.
Yes, it's cutting on our end too. Like Ramy is trying to fix this. Thank you for bringing this up. So Hania, do you have any input that you would like to add here until we get Ramy?
No, I think Ramy is in a better position because I'm not that well acquainted with the right place for the funding for these.
Yes, and I don't know, Ziad, if you have attended our last webinar, like on last Tuesday, we had people from IM Capital, from Fondation Dayan, and also from Kafalat ISME, and they covered also. They talked also about the funding, and this, particularly in these sectors, and what they are providing. I believe, yeah. So that's great. I was going to ask you if you'd like to watch the recording also on this regard.
So can you hear me?
Yes, really.
Is my voice better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, great. So basically, we do have, when it comes to the clean tech sector, there are solutions and problems that are linked to infrastructure, linked to political decisions, linked to many things. But we believe there are other solutions that are totally linked to the private sector, where the private sector can play a role in it. Having said that, the program as well, we're working as well with the Isam Faris Institute at AUB to push for more policy dialogue in terms of innovation, introduction of innovation with the private sector and the government to facilitate some of those opportunities and remove some of the bottlenecks available between innovators, the clean tech sector, and the government influence. So I think there are opportunities to tackle. If there is a will, there is a way. And what we have seen with the previous accelerators we've had in different sectors is that when we see somebody determined to make a change, we'll definitely work with them on identifying potential users, pivot the solution to meet the requirements of the community they're working with or the clients they're working with. And with that, we're able to reach to some sort of a successful startup that could scale beyond the borders of Lebanon.
And I believe like the third question here, I believe you've addressed it somehow, but if you want to highlight it more, so are you getting any help from the government during this program?
Help from the government. We're creating linkages with the government. We're meeting with the ministries, whether it's industry, economy and trade, and others to try to facilitate some dialogue and potential. The government does not fund our programs. This program is funded at 90% by the Dutch government, and the rest is by Berytech. And we're working with local stakeholders to support us. So we do create a lot of links with multiple players, but there are civil society organizations, municipalities, NGOs, different funders, different programs to create the linkages. But the government does not fund the program, but they do open doors when we need in some sectors and listen to our concerns and try to help within the capacities that they have at the particular ministry.
I'd like to add that also to Ramy, is that yes, maybe they do have limited financial resources, but they also realize the importance of the work that is being now done to support the clean tech sector, and they're willing to help with the resources they have. So I think there is some kind of acknowledgement of the importance of the sector, as well as trying to help with what they can and the capacities they have.
Yes. Okay. Another question is like, can the project be a project that was implemented before? So I believe I can address this. So basically, any team that has an idea or a prototype or a proof of concept, or even like a product that is ready, okay, is welcome to join, is eligible to join the program. If that's what the question means. So if it's, it doesn't need to be at the idea level. Okay, so it can be a project that is already initiated. Okay, of course we have like more selection criteria that we look at. Okay, so but I hope that this answers the question. If not, like please try to ask it in a different way. Another question we have is for you, Hania. So, are you attending the hackathon?
It depends. I have an odd car plate number. So, is it on an odd or even car plate?
It is any hackathon. So, it's a virtual hackathon. It's not.
No, I will be attending. Yes, I will be attending the hackathon.
Yes, definitely. So we always, it's always a pleasure to have you on board with us and these kind of events. So for the hackathon, you can also check our website, and basically just to highlight one thing, that for the program, the Cleanergy program. So one of the eligibility criteria is to have a team to apply, a team of 3. So for the hackathon, we also need a team to apply for the hackathon, but we are giving also the opportunity for people who have ideas, but they don't yet have a team, okay, to go and join. We have our Slack workspace that we have created for the hackathon specifically, where you can start, where people can start inspiring each other, exchanging ideas, and trying to maybe join and form teams which they can apply to the hackathon and to the Cleanergy program. So we are also trying to open this kind of communication through the community. So also please check our webpage for more details regarding this. Also, I don't know if we have some. We've started a community for this sector on Facebook, which I also encourage you to go and check it out, where like very interesting discussions are being happening on there, in there, and like it's growing on a daily basis. More questions we have here. So, will the Federation of Areas in Lebanon affect the solutions?
That's like a way long shot.
No, but I think what we're looking at, with our startups is to think of a solution that can go beyond Lebanon's border. When you talk engineering, science, or tech solutions, Lebanon is too small for a solution. So we need to think of solutions that can go beyond the borders of Lebanon. Whether we're talking federation or not, there are opportunities for entrepreneurs, and we work with them to help them scale their solutions outside of Lebanon. So having said that, we want them to implement and test in Lebanon and grow in Lebanon as well, but we're looking for solutions that can go international as well. So please think, when you're looking at solutions, think how this would be applied in countries across the globe, whether it's Latin America, Africa, Asia, or even Europe, where challenges could be, dealt with a solution that you're developing.
What if the situation deteriorated even more economically and politically? Do you have any risk management plan for the startup who will be joining the program?
We have put some risk mitigation on the program, and I'll be frank. We have been passing through a lot of ups and downs to try to match the different challenges that we faced, whether it's with the road closures in the fall of 2019 or the COVID-19 in 2020. We have moved into a number of digital solutions to help startups work from regions remotely. We also have worked on trying to mitigate solutions and challenges. But I think it all depends on where we're going. But we are working in a very agile way to try to mitigate risk along the way, helping startups to find solutions to scale. And if the current situation in Lebanon does not permit, maybe we can look at solutions that could scale internationally using local talent, local people to provide services beyond the borders of Lebanon.
Great. Okay, another question is there are many financing structures set in place for infrastructure projects, PPP, concessions, and others that could work for project finance. Is this an option?
It is, but again, with this program, with Cleanergy, we're not looking at major infrastructure mechanisms. We're not looking to implement dams or electrical facilities that are huge, that require major investments. We're looking at tech, engineering, or science solution that would start small but have potential to grow internationally. The program offers up to $40,000, $37,000 in cash. We're looking at helping them match with other mechanisms, and there is a technical support of about $70,000. So with that, we're trying to take an idea into a potential business with the proper minimum viable product tested and looking at financing. So I think the PPP model might be a different model to look into.
Okay. Another question from Ziad: what are the key selection criteria for the hackathon? Will we have access to the Fab Labs, 3D printers, and CNC? Okay, so I can address this. Basically, as I told you, one of the criteria for the selection is having a team. Okay, for sure the idea should be aligning with the program. So whether it's related to waste or wastewater, water, energy, transportation. Okay, so it has to be innovative, related to technology, and basically that's it. It could be at the area stage or at other stages. For sure you will have access for the Fab Lab. We will be addressing this in the introduction session during the hackathon. So we will explain and share with you how is the access to the Fab Lab is going to happen, because we know that we are now in some it's a new situation that we're trying to adapt with the coronavirus and stuff like this. So we want to keep everyone safe while doing the hackathon. This is why we do it virtual hackathon. But we understand the importance of the Fab Lab and and for prototypes. So we are working on a framework to use the Fab Lab as as much possible as we can during the situation. So we're having like scheduled visits, like on appointment basis, and like lots of details will be communicated at the beginning of the hackathon regarding this. Okay, so 3D printers and CNCs are available. Also, like another point that you need to keep in mind that you have around around 3 days to develop something. So 3D printers and the CNCs usually they take time to prototype. So we need also to keep in mind that it's not a very big model that you're preparing. Can we work on legislating electric cars in Lebanon or MENA, like locally made electric cars? Basically, I may also address this. We know that there are lots of policies and laws that need to be created or addressed or modified, okay, for lots of new ideas to be able to operate properly and legally. So basically, it's we're working on this also in parallel with the program. So we are doing lots of research. As Ramy and Hania said, we are trying to gather inputs from experts in this field with, in order to have some recommendations and articles and white papers to address, like, or to, I would say, recommend a new policy or new modification to policies that can help. So this might fall under one of these recommendations. So we're working on that. So and we'll keep you updated for sure with the progress. So I believe with that we reached the end of our webinar today. I would like to thank Hania again and Ramy for joining us. It was like I believe an inspiration for me, and to see like all the potential and the possibilities that we have ahead of us. And I'm happy with the I would say the 8 previous webinars that we have organized and delivered. Lots of interesting discussions. They are all recorded. You can go and check it all on our website. Before ending, I would like, I don't know, Ramy or Hania, if you want to add anything before I end the.
Well, I would like to say one thing. For the people attending and watching us, look at this as a sector, look at the situation in Lebanon as an opportunity. I know there's a lot of moving wheels and moving parts in the current situation in Lebanon, whether it's economical, social, health, and so on. But I think with crises like this, a lot of entrepreneurship ideas flourish. There are fundings. There are serious people at Berytech helping to support you in your growth. So please do not, please make sure that if you're interested in applying, please apply. Join the hackathon to experiment what type of support you can get, and feel free to share this information with as many people as you think might be interested, because this is a nice opportunity, a great opportunity. We've seen people within Berytech programs scale, beyond the borders of Lebanon and fundraise across, creating jobs to tens or 20s of young people from Lebanon. So we're here to support. Just take the decision and join us. Wa ahlan wa sahlan.
Yeah, I'd like to say, first of all, thank you for being on this webinar. And actually, even like personally for me, coming from an agro-food economics background, I realize more and more by day the importance of the clean tech and the application on the different sectors. And yes, there are challenges. The situation is not optimal, but then again, there will never be an optimal situation. So now is the time to act. And I think this is what really stirs our creativity to come up with innovative solution for that. And I believe with Berytech, we really have access to a lot of information, to even human resources that can help, and even to connect with the different people if in case there is more information that is required. So I believe just make use of these information and always think outside the box.
Thank you, Hania and Ramy, again, and thanks to all our listeners. We hope that you have enjoyed this session. Before closing, please keep in mind that the deadline to apply for the first batch of the Cleanergy Accelerator is 15th of June. So if you think you have an innovative solution in the cleantech sector, I urge you to check the website and submit your application. Also, the deadline for this application submission for our hackathon is like 5 June. So please check our web pages and apply if you have an innovative solution in the cleantech sector. Also, when signing out, it will be great if you can answer a small survey that that we are sharing. So for us to keep on improving, stay tuned for more material to come and for more content to come on our webpage, and hope to see you then. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.